I'll do the introduction. So Simon Prosser is educated in Germany and securing a degree in electrical engineering. Simon began his career in the automotive manufacturing industry before entering the medical device world, where he has since spent more than 20 years working in the field of surgical ophthalmology, working for both United States and European companies. He has played a global and defining role in the evolution of new surgical platforms and is widely recognized for his contributions in this space. Now working as Global Director for Surgical Applications, Simon is applying his knowledge and experience acquired by spending over 10,000 hours in surgery to help Ocutrx technologies to develop advanced surgical visualization solutions. When he's not in the OR, Simon is a helicopter pilot and a passionate mountaineer. He's also the founder and CEO of Summit for Sight Foundation, and in this capacity, he's currently leading an expedition to climb some of the world's highest peaks, Mount Everest, to raise funding in order to help people suffering from AMD-related vision loss. That's amazing. Simon, thank you, and we look forward to hearing your presentation.
Yes, thank you kindly for that introduction. We've had some really interesting presentations today. I hope I can keep up with everyone else here. So let's get started. You've already made that wonderful introduction. Just to recap, over 20 years in surgical device and instrumentation, primarily working and living in Europe, North and South America. Over 10,000 hours in surgery. Most of that is in the field of ophthalmology, where I have been spearheading a lot of the developments to develop new surgical devices. And I'm now with Ocutrx Technologies, where we are overseeing the surgical applications for our new technology. Yes, I climb mountains. I am the CEO and founder of the Summits for Sight Foundation, currently on a mission to prepare to climb Mount Everest, the proceeds of which are going to help people suffering from vision loss caused from age-related macular degeneration. So, now without starting my technical overview or insight into what I was going to show you today, I can't do that without mentioning two amazing visionaries. It was Michael and Mitch's father's AMD diagnosis, which led to the foundation of Ocutrx Technologies, which Michael and Mitch founded, with a mission to help those suffering from the impact of AMD-related vision loss. Very quickly, for those not familiar with AMD, or the terminology age-related macular degeneration, these people at some point have a deterioration on their retina that leads to a loss in their central vision. That could be a single spot or multiple spots, but there is very little treatment, if any at all, for that condition at that point. And so these people tend to have difficulties in their day-to-day lives, reading, recognizing faces, all those kind of things. And this is what Michael and Mitch's father was diagnosed with, and it ignited a fuse and put them on a mission to try and find a solution to help these people. So what we've done since then, in the last 7 or 8 years, has been bringing together a very experienced and knowledgeable team, enhancing the talent by working closely with an expansive group of medical experts from a variety of surgical fields. Some of our partners that we have brought into this team include Qualcomm, where we enjoy a tier 1 status, allowing us to access chips that otherwise might take many, many months longer to access. We have a partnership with AT&T based around the 5G plans that I'm going to be talking about in just a few slides. And a number of other very solid partnerships to enable us to reach our goals in some of the products that we are developing. We have pursued quite an aggressive patent program over these last few years. 5 patents have already been issued. We have 114 patents still pending, and that number might even increase even further. We seem to come up with some very creative ideas almost weekly at this point. So at the very beginning of our story here, Michael and Mitch, as I've said, set out to find a solution to help people with AMD. So the Oculens device was to be the solution. This is a device that is for people in that low vision segment initially. It's an AR device. Some of the challenges that we face with that, they might seem very simple when you see these finished products in the marketplace, but the challenges that you face in today's world to develop a wearable device that conforms in its form factor with weight and all the issues that come with it from the processing and the thermal output that these devices create. And there were quite some considerable challenges to overcome. I won't go into them in detail, but I can tell you that it is extremely extensive and difficult for people to comprehend the difficulty in delivering a device that fulfills all the needs. Basically, the way the device functions, though, if we're going to home in on just one example, for somebody who has these scotomas, they're depicted here in this green field, they typically are unable to recognize certain portions of an area where they're looking. That makes difficulty, of course, when trying to read things. And if you look at the left column and we try and read that top left sentence, men are, and we really can't recognize very much there. And that's where our difficulty comes in understanding what we're trying to read. With the Ocutrx device, we can now actually see those letters pushed aside. So the Ocutrx device has managed to identify where the scotoma is, which is the area of central vision loss, and is able to push then the wording, those letters in those words or even entire words, to either side of that, which enables the brain to very quickly adapt and understand how to use this form of allowing us to read, and it becomes second nature very, very quickly. I hope that gives a good idea of how this device works and helps those people to read. So off we went to the American Association of Ophthalmology back in 2017, wanting to first propose this device and show a few people, what we were about to do. And that was very successful, but we also met quite a number of people from the surgical side of things, as you might imagine, at one of these exhibitions. And we met people, for example, like George Tingwalt, and a lot of those people were coming to us with information about the problems that they were experiencing in the OR and how they believed that a wearable device in the OR space would solve a lot of those problems. Now, I've been in the surgical operating room, as I've said, for thousands of hours, and I can tell you that the standard system that's used for all these microsurgeries today uses a standard optical microscope. And microscopes have been around since the 17th century. They've actually been used in the operating room not all that long ago, just 100 years, in fact, in 1921. And not very much has changed in that time. I've seen so many innovations and new devices created and even new procedures, but with the microscope, that seems to have missed quite a lot of the innovations there. And the only thing that sort of kicked in was the beginnings of a digitalization 8 to 10 years ago, when we began to see the few companies that are in this space take the existing platforms and try and add digitalization components onto it. And as you can see from this picture here, when I'm showing the sum, these things are huge. I call them battleships, and it's very, very difficult for the surgeon to try and look around and see monitors, and it invades the operative space. So it hasn't really been the perfect solution. And I would call the ideal scenario a Tesla approach, which in this term refers to designing a solution from the ground up, rather than taking an existing platform and trying to add on and take off things, and try and find the correct solution that way instead, from a fresh start. Just so we take a quick look at some of the pain points with these standard optical microscopes in today's clinical environment. And there are many. I've just highlighted two right here, right now. Ergonomics is a really big issue. I'm going to talk about that in the next slide a little bit more. And the other pain point that really stands out is the resolution. I think today we have almost exhausted the potential from optical solutions, and there is so much more potential being demonstrated with a digital alternative. And that's the 2 points that I'm really going to be talking about today. Here we can see just a small insight into some of the real world results that are created by having a surgeon sit in a very unnatural position for hours at a time, the strain on the spine, the back muscles, the neck, all takes its toll. And I can personally tell you many stories of surgeons that have reduced the amount of hours that they were undergoing surgical procedures, or even having to retire early, all for this very specific reason. And the cost to the industry and to the surgeon is just huge. It really goes into the billions of dollars. So we took all this information from the AAO, and we had hundreds of people feeding us with information, and we basically came out with the following predictions on what the surgery suite of the future could and will likely look like. And that would be a system that had these advanced capabilities, enhanced visualization, integrability, better ergonomics, and increased efficiency, and also, of course, in today's world, looking towards the future, how to implement artificial intelligence into all of this. That leads me into showing you, first of all, the idea that we came up with before I start talking about a little bit more about how we've gone about building this entire thing. But we'll take a look at what we see here on the video first.
Introducing the ORBot Surgery Visualization Theater, offering 3 unique viewing options based on a surgeon's preference. Let's explore, shall we? Replacing the legacy microscope, our 3D microscope captures surgery images with dual 6K cinematic sensors with 12 times magnification. The mini-lens 3D digital ocular viewport provides stereoscopic 4K clarity so you never miss a detail, and is mounted on a cobotic arm ergonomically moving as the surgeon adjusts during long surgery. Next is our stereo lens 8K 3D monitor, enabling multiple users to see pristine 3D video from the digital surgery microscope without wearing 3D glasses. Next, our revolutionary OR Lens XR headset displays 3D holographic images and drastically improves ergonomics by giving surgeons freedom of motion and positioning. OR Lens headsets are available for surgeons, techs, and students, which will help bring learning alive. Surgery plans and pre-op imaging can be uploaded to the OR Lens. Using the OR Lens patent-pending med tiles, surgeons will now be able to access real-time equipment or patient data with a simple turn of the head, keeping you constantly informed to make critical decisions. 12 times magnification can be achieved by simply moving the head forward. The OR Lens's edge-to-edge clarity allows surgeons to look closely at any specific region of the surgery image. Here's an example of med tiles from the user's perspective. Look forward for digital surgery feed. Look to the left to view patients' vitals or equipment readouts. Look to the right for preoperative or surgical plan imaging. Then look back to center to resume viewing surgery feed. Move head forward to magnify. Then retract head to zoom out.
Okay, that should give everyone a little bit of an idea of the type of surgical platform that Ocutrx is now developing. And the heart of that system basically consists of 3 components. It's the monitor, the camera, and the AR headset. And tying all those together and enabling us to deliver the data in very, very low latencies, which we obviously need. We use our Ocutrx wireless internet system that has been specifically designed for that purpose. Very quickly, this is still the magic sauce in part with our solution. I'm not able to disclose too many details on our camera solution at this point due to some patent applications, but here we can see that we have a dual 6K, so total 12K resolution camera system, capable of delivering an optical zoom of 6 times. If we combine the optical with the digital zoom, we can go for anywhere between 16 to 96 times magnification and still maintain a 4K resolution per eye. And even at 192 times resolution, we can still deliver a full high-definition resolution per eye. That is delivering 24.5 megapixels per eye. dynamic range of 14, which is 16 times better than any of our competitors right now in the marketplace. And what's really phenomenal is the ability of this camera system to deliver 69 billion potential colors. And I will explain a little bit in a minute on what you're going to do with 69 billion potential colors. Just to show here the resolution capabilities, this is an excerpt from actually a military test from what I'm told, showing the capabilities of resolution down to 5 microns. And that's about all that I'm able to share with you today. Just for clarification, the Oculens and OR lens are the one and the same headset in principle from its optical engine, the Oculens being the device for low vision and AMD patients, the OR lens being almost the same device, but specifically fine-tuned for surgical applications. So now I'd like to show you a little bit of what the surgical engine looks like that we have been able to develop and compare that to some of the mainstream competitors out there in the marketplace. And as you can probably imagine, when we're trying to deliver an image in an AR environment, so projecting that onto a transparent screen on something that somebody's wearing, and then intended to be used in surgery, the resolution and the clarity and the crisp image, it has to be there. There's no discussion about this. And so if we take a look at these two images right now, on the left you'll see our new optical engine, which we had to design completely from scratch. The existing wave-guided technology that's out there, an example here with the HoloLens, simply does not deliver the image and resolution quality that we would need in a surgical environment. If we blow that up, just to give you an even better image there, we can see all the laser lines in that picture, and we can see all the issues going on. So you can imagine what a surgical image would look like under those conditions. What causes this problem? Well, very simply, these issues are called chromatic aberrations, and basically what happens is the light goes through the lens, and because of different wavelengths, they are no longer able to be focaled onto one specific point, and then we get all these aberrations that in a real world kind of look like this. Now we see those 3 different colors out of sync. In fact, we had a team just recently. Some of our engineers went to one of the leading meetings, I think just a few weeks ago, in fact, looking to see if anything was changing, if any improvements on the inherent problems with the wave-guided technology were on the horizon. And it appears that we are still many, many years away from anything that will overcome the problems that they are still faced with. So we seem, with our own optical engine, to have circumnavigated these issues and developed a system that does not fall short of all these problems. I'm going to show you in a minute some other pictures. This is a picture from our laboratory over in the Innovation Center we have over in Laguna Beach in California. This is the kind of image that you're going to see when you look through just one of the lenses. And here we're applying something called dynamic opacity, which is the way we are able to make the projection screen lighter or darker to compensate for all kinds of lighting environments. As you can imagine, people want to use these devices both indoor and outdoor and under all kinds of different illumination circumstances. So we developed a solution here called dynamic opacity, allowing us to vary that in such a way that we can always ensure that we create an ultra crisp and perfect clear picture for the viewer. Just a little bit of a larger view on that right here, and you can see no matter how much we enhance that image, the picture remains very, very clear and precise. Here we're taking a look at the same thing with a video image displayed on the lens. And all of these pictures and videos were taken using just a simple iPhone. So we really are looking straight down at what the optical image is doing. Just amazing clarity there. Looking at the competitor analysis, just to see the stats here, we see the ability with regards to the resolution per eye compared to anyone else out there. The field of view is much larger. We really went to great lengths to reduce the weight of our AR device, and we also made sure that it was untethered so that there were no cables pulling at the back. I think in the OR, based on all of my experience, this is not something that the surgeon will be happy to see and use over time. These devices must be untethered. Here we see a very small display of how much larger our field of view is in those devices compared to the competitors' products. And in summary, I think what we can safely say is that we've created the most advanced AR viewing solution out there in the marketplace. We are very, very close at this point to commercialization, just a few months away. So I'm really, really excited to get this device out there into market. Going to take a look now at one of the next components in our OR-bot solution, and that is the 8K three-dimensional monitor that we will be using. If you look again at the OR-bot system, this is where the monitor is positioned. It's immediately placed in front of the surgeon in an ergonomically correct position. And it's a 32-inch screen, which is very, very similar to surgeons who have up until now been looking at digital systems with anywhere between a 55 and a 75-inch screen that's placed much, much further away, and they're having to put their head around the microscope system just to try and see it. This is going to be a much more improved solution for them. We'll take a quick look at the comparisons here. Inherently, we've seen the two competitor products that are out there advising on 4K, but indeed the reality is they truly are not. To even view them, you need 3D glasses, and by doing so, you inherently remove 50% of the available light, and you take down the resolution in doing so. And we have truly managed to deliver a full, true dual 4K, so 4K per eye with much, much better latency data, which is very important. I've been in surgery watching what's going on down on the surgical site and seeing something very different happening on the surgical screen, and that's obviously not what we want. Huge difference when we look at the amount of megapixels that our device displays, and it's very unique in the fact, as we've already mentioned, that there are absolutely no need anymore to wear those 3D glasses, which again is also a comfort issue for the surgeons outside of those technical issues that I mentioned with that. The stereo lens system is actually going to be available not only in combination with our OR-bot system, but later this year we're releasing it as a standalone solution. I actually went into some surgeries just a few days ago. They were arthroscopy surgeries, where the surgeons really, really were interested in the ability to view their surgical site in 3D without wearing glasses. So I'm really excited to get this monitor into their hands to test in these next few months when we launch the product commercially. Just a sneak preview of some of the other adaptations based on some of our camera technology that we're introducing in combination with the use of the stereo lens and the OR lens. We have developed a laparoscopic handheld wireless device in combination with development with David Street, who's a vascular surgeon, where we can then, with the same technical capabilities, send these image signals to the stereo lens or to the headset, or a combination of the two. And that's very unique too. The ability in surgery to allow the surgeon to choose for himself whether he wants to look at the surgical site or any other data on the screen or on that wearable device. And just as a last comment, when I left the surgery on the day I went to see those arthroscopies, and I asked the surgeon if he was happy standing there in still a rather strict posture, looking at the screen while he was using his tools. And he said no, he would really, really enjoy the option to be a little bit more flexible and to have something that was wearable, so that no matter which position he adopted, he wasn't having to stick to this very strict position in order to view the screen that was, in this case, hanging off the ceiling. Last but not least, as far as components to make all of this ORBot solution really come together, is the inclusion of 5G. Now that, for the main part, exceeds my general understanding when we get to this level of 5G. But essentially, what we're dealing with here is the ability to secure ultra-fast data speeds, which in turn secure our low latency capabilities. And what we're generally seeing in this collaboration with AT&T is a new system configuration where we can bring in this 5G solution into hospitals. They are systems that operate only at short distance, so within this surgical or facility environment, but can carry huge amounts of data. There's extremely large amounts of bandwidth available to us there to allow all of our data to function the way we want and at the speeds that we want. This is another slide that AT&T was kind enough to present me with, giving us a very simple overview of the capabilities here. I think the amount of bandwidth that we see here is just phenomenal. It's what we're all looking forward to accessing. What that in turn does for us, and again, this is a little bit of the magic sauce that we're still working on at this point, is how to implement those 69 billion colors and all the other data streams that we can now deliver through 5G and feed that into machine learning and artificial intelligence applications. Just one very simple example here of where we are going, and this is from ophthalmology, is that we can use the ability for the camera to see those colors that we can't see with the human eye and code those to certain pathologies or to certain tissues. And so we can identify, for example, a membrane on the back of the retina that we otherwise would not be seeing, or at least not be seeing very well. And we can also apply additional applications in that machine learning environment to give the surgeon and even students and anyone else that's using the technology to gain insight on where to begin the surgery or which surgeries might be suggested. Has the membrane peel been conducted fully, or is there still some tissue remaining that perhaps very difficult to see without the aid of some of the technology that we will be bringing into play with this solution? So that's a fascinating area, which I'm very, very excited to be working on in these next few years as we bring the ORBot into the surgical environment. And with that, I think my time is getting close to being up. So if anybody has any questions, I would be happy to answer those. Thank you very much.
Thank you again, Dr. Simon, for your very great presentation and introducing your team. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Michael Freeman back in 2019 at the San Francisco conference. And yeah, it was a very good experience connecting with him. And I think Dr. Simon just disconnected. Oh, he's back. Hello, Dr. Simon.
Hi there.
Yeah, I think he just had a minor lag. Yeah, if there's any questions or remarks, Rafael.
Well, I think that's incredible technology. Thanks for that presentation. It's very exciting. I don't see any other questions. Simon, are you based here you personally based in the US or in Germany?
No, I'm actually based in the United States. I'm currently in Phoenix. Our office is in Laguna Beach. I'm actually making a move there just in a couple of weeks' time. So, yeah.
Great.
Exciting. Oh, that's exciting stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, again, thank you so much, Simon, for your presentation. And with that said, we will head to our final presentation before our panel discussion. Well, let's head over to Barb Taylor's room now.